Our paper title is Crypto Your Belongings by Two Pin Authentication using Ant algorithm based technique. So I would start with the context, like the problem, like why this paper and why it has been started and what has been done. So on a day-to-day basis, like everyone shares some or other information. Let's say for a job verification, I may share my IDs or I may share my passport copies. So through various medias, it could be applications or it could be emails or any other forms like web browsers. But we are not sure if our data is safe, right? Okay, it could be the protected internet, the internet services. Yeah, all those options are fine. But what if we are not sure if the email services or the applications are utilizing the data? Because any business to grow, they need a data. So they need to analyze the data that is available. So how the customers are expecting, so that they can plan their business better in the future. So there is always a question whether our data is like a safe. So this is the problem. So what can be done? Like, what if there is an additional layer of the security at the source end? When I say source end, it could be like a mobile or it could be a laptop from where I'm sending. So what if there is additional security? Like if I encrypt my image or the video that I'm going to send, so if I'm uploading it in an email service or the apps, then yes, it would be in an encrypted format. If somebody is trying to read something, then yes, it would be in a non-readable format. Once it reaches the destination as an encrypted file, the end user, they can decrypt it so that they can read the data. So this way we can say that, yes, we can protect our own data at our end. So the techniques used. So there has been a combination of techniques used for this method. Like it is like a cryptography technique has been used, and a two-pin authentication. So the user must enter the two pins. Then the Ant algorithm techniques. So I would explain everything like in the forward slides. So before going into a deep about the method I explained, I would give a basic information about the cryptography and what is Ant algorithm, those things. So we all know that cryptography is a method to hide the data. So we give some key and it just cipher it in a non-readable format. Then when we give when the end user gives the key, yes, it decrypts and gives you the original information. So cryptography has like two methods in general, that is symmetric and asymmetric key. The symmetric is nothing but the sender and the receiver should have the same key to encrypt and decrypt, wherein the asymmetric method, it is like a key pair based technique. Like the sender would be having a public key, wherein the receiver should be having a private key. So there is another technique called a visual cryptography. This is nothing but a technique or a method to encrypt and decrypt the images, videos, all those things. So cryptography is general terminology and it is used for text, all those things, wherein the visual cryptography is for images, videos, anything in a form of visual. So coming to the Ant algorithm. So what is the Ant algorithm? The Ant algorithm is, I'm just showing my slides. This is where the problem that I have explained. And this would be the method that, like, what if the additional layer of the security is done? And this slide is the technique that I have told, like what technique I have used in this paper. So, and that is a cryptography technique and the 2 pins and the ant algorithm. So I explained about the cryptography and the visual cryptography that is in this slide. So next comes the ant algorithm. So here is where I left. So let me continue from here. So the ant algorithm works generally based upon how ant searches for the food. So how ant searches for the food is just the ants, they go randomly, they start searching for the food to a different places. So once one of the ant, or it could be any ant, like once the ant finds the food, what it does is it takes some food and it start moving towards the destination. The destination is nothing but the ant home, right? Where the ant resides. So what it does is it just start leaving the markers, the pores on the path. So the advantage is the other ants would get to know, okay, this is the source where the food is available. So it would follow the path where the markers are left. So that would make the path shorter, and it is going to be a stronger because the other ants need not to search for the food and they can just to follow the path, right? So they will be able to gather a lot of foods actually in a shorter time. So and the path is going to be a shorter because we need not to roam more and more to find the food because we know where is the food. So this is how the ant algorithm works. Yeah. So this is just the representations. You can see the A is a source where the ants are there, and the B is the destination where the food is there. So the ants just they start randomly searching for the food, where one of the ant is able to find the food, that this is the source. So what it does is it goes back to the destination, leaving the markers to the path. So the ants that are just searching randomly, if they get to know, they would just join in the middle. If some ants are in the starting point, then probably yes, they would just to follow the path. So next is the implemented method. So what I have implemented using all these techniques, how I have developed the algorithms to encrypt and decrypt the data. So the basic thing is the user should provide 2 pins. So when you use that algorithm, it is going to ask for a 2 pin. The first pin would be a 4-digit pin. It could be any numbers, but it is up to a 4-digit. Wherein the second code, once you enter the first code, it is going to go to the second code. For example, if you are entering a 5-digit, then yes, it is going to end the algorithm and you have to probably start with the algorithm again. So the max is 4-digit for the first code. The second code is a single-digit pin. It is just a single-digit pin. Why it is? Okay, why we should have a 2 pins? It is just for the additional security and so that it can make the algorithms the stronger. Like if somebody is trying to hack or if somebody is trying to decrypt the data, so these 2 pins would make more stronger because the probability or the combinations would go higher. That's the idea behind it, to use the 2 secret pins. So the user should remember both pins to decrypt the data. So coming back to the algorithm, this is the representation. So when the image or the video is, once it fed into the algorithm, what it is going to do at the initial step is it is going to convert the image or the video into an array of bytes. So the length of the array of bytes depends on the size of the image or the video. So that is the first step. The second step is to invert the pin that the first pin entered. Why? It is just to for the additional security, because keeping the pin as it is entered by the user may cause a threat. So it would be inverted using a logic gate technique so that the original pin is not visible anymore. So once these two steps are done, then another logic technique is used, logic gate technique is used to combine the first set of array and the pin. So when I say combine, it is going to combine and create a new set of array of bytes. So the values what you're seeing, it would be really different when this step completes. But it is again going to be a different set of array of bytes, and it will be stored in the image, the same image. So next comes the pin 2. So here comes the pin 2 work. So the pin 2 work is, as I mentioned, if I am a user of that algorithm, I need not to worry what the pin 2 is going to do, because it's just the pin that the user has to remember. But internally, to make the algorithm more stronger, it has been designed in such a way the length of the path is the depth of the path. The depth of the path or the length of the path would be matched with the pin 2. So what is the depth? When I say the depth, it is like at the each path or the each stage, this combination would occur again by changing the pin again and again, by changing the pin 1. So that will be taken care by the algorithm. So at the each path, the path is a stage here. So at each stage, a different pin is generated. So with the previous array of bytes and the new pin, it is going to get combined. Again, that is going to get a new set of array of bytes. So this is going to make the image more encrypted way. So it is just based on the value, so that like that is the reason behind the pin 2. So let's say if I'm giving number as 3, so it would go to 3 stages. So 3 stages of this combination. So the path n is the like path 3 here. So as I said, the ANT algorithm works in such a way that it leaves the markers to the source, so that when other ants go and find the food, it knows the path where it is, and it can like reach the destination in a shorter way, right? So to maintain the same, that technique has been used at the decryption level. So when I want to decrypt, I want to know how many paths I have traveled, so that there won't be because if I'm missing any path, it is going to corrupt the data. So I should not miss any path, right, while I decrypt as well. So a buffer space has been introduced, which is going to store the number of paths or the number of stages that the encryption has happened. So that value will be stored here. So once it is stored, yes, we are good, because this is also going to be a part of the image. So it's nothing like externally something is going to get stored. Everything will be in the image. So once you at this stage, the image is encrypted. If you try to double click and open the image or the video, it is just going to say it is unable to open the image. So yes, we are good to send wherever you want. Once that is done, at the decryption level, again both pin has to be entered, pin 1 and pin 2. So at the pin 2, when you enter the pin 2, correct pin 2, it knows, okay, so these many paths that I have to travel, and it tries to matches in the buffer space that has been already stored. So it is going to see, oh yeah, this is the path that I have to travel, and it is going to travel. So this is how the entire algorithm works. So once the decryption is completely done, which is going to reach to the path 1, which is the source or the origin. So at that level, we will be able to see the original image. Okay, so before going to this slide, I would like to show the results. So like I have taken a sample example that was done as a part of the experiment. So let's say this is the image, the passport is the image that has been fed. And when I do the encryption, the array of bytes is going to look like this. So I have just taken a snapshot. It is not going to be in the same level. As I said, it's based on the size of the image. The length of the array bytes would differ. Uh, so after this encryption, you are good to send. So if you're, as I said, if you try to open, it is going to say unable to open. You are going to just get a pop-up window. So, okay, so you're good to send to the destination. So at the decryption level, so this is how the decryption would happen in a reverse way, how the encryption has happened, because the pin 2 is here, like on the pin 1, where we have inverted in the decryption way, it has to go back at the every stage. So that would happen. So once the decryption stage is done, we'll be able to see the original image. Okay, so this result comparison is for an ANT algorithm. So as I said, the ANT algorithm has been introduced for the efficient way how we can decrypt it to reduce the time. If I know, okay, this is the path I have traveled based on the pin 2 that we are entering, that is going to really helpful based on this ANT algorithm technique. So here is the result. So what has been done is I have taken some images, and this MP4 is a video. So, and the degree of a second pin. So like you could see, I have just categorized as medium, low, and high. This is like when I say low, let's say we have single digit is up to 9. So like if low, you can consider as like 1, 2, 3, and medium is like 4, 5, 6, and the high is 7, 8, 9. So when the testing was done, either of these pin would have entered based on this degree of the second pin. So the time taken to encrypt the message is mentioned here, wherein the decrypt is mentioned here. If you see overall, there are two results. That is where the decryption has taken more time than the encryption, which is in the red font, like a red color font. If you see other things, yes, there has been a significant improvement while decrypting. You could see, compare that it is always less than the time taken for the encryption. So the result was like this. I have analyzed almost like a 50 plus combination of images and the videos. So 90% of the time, the decryption was taking a lesser time by using this ANT algorithm technique. 10%, yes, decryption was taking a more time. So that was the result of this comparison between this ANT algorithm. So going back to this pros and cons. So yes, this combination makes it harder for any hacker to decrypt the image or break it, because it has two different secret pins. The next thing is the ANT algorithm helps in the path optimization. So we know how we have to travel so that the decryption would be faster. So the problem here is, if the user enters either pin incorrectly, the data is going to get corrupted. The reason being, as soon as you enter some numbers, it is not going to verify it's a right number or not. The algorithm has not designed in such a way whether the entered pin is right or not. It is just going to start the decryption process. So at one stage, it is going to understand it was not, because the numbers we have entered is different when we did the encryption. So what would happen is it would end up in a corruption, because it would understand, okay, it is something wrong, the decryption process that happens, and finally it will like create a different arrays of bytes where we would not meet the source or the origin. So when the suggestion here I have is, when the user forgets the pin, like if I feel, okay, I have forgot my pin for that image or the video, so it is just you can copy and keep another copy, and so that you can try a different pin. But is it a way? But it is just a suggested way, because if I really don't remember my pin and I just want to try randomly, that is not going to work, because the probability and the combination is going to be so much higher. So that is one problem here. Okay, so coming to the conclusion part, this whole method of algorithm or the technique shows the unique way of encryption and the decryption, like how to secure the data at the user end, like as I said, whether in our laptop or a mobile or any tablets, anywhere. So that is the strength where we need not to worry, like, okay, is my data safe if I when I share my sensitive images or the videos to anybody, right? So, and the two secret pin makes it very hard, um, because if a person is trying to decrypt it, the probability or the combination of two secret pin is going to be a very large in count. And as I said, the ant algorithm technique helps the decryption process very fast. So coming to the future plan, I have tried um, even encrypting the large videos, let's say 100 megabytes or the 200. So the total time taking is like very high. As you see here, when it is 4 megabit MB, then you can see that it has taken like 16 seconds. And when it is 9 or 7 MB, you could see it has taken around like a minute. So when you can imagine then how much time it would take when I do a larger size video. So sometimes it could take hours. So the idea or the future plan is how it can be concurrently done. Let's say if I will be able to do the encryption, like using, let's say if I have a 4 core, whether it can be done the parallelly and can be combined later. Is it possible? I'm not sure. Like that is how I'm going to approach, so that if any large videos are there, probably yes, I would try to implement the same unique method for those sizes as well. And the other plan, which is in the pipeline, which I have already started working, is like how to secure the audio files, right? Like we have seen the visual ones, like images and the videos. So how to secure the audio files, even because there are many audio files which are having a very sensitive informations, and we may think that, yeah, it should be encrypted better before I send it to my friend or a colleague, whoever it is. So it is better to encrypt, right? So it is in progress to do the audio files as well. So yeah, so this is the paper, and once again, thanks for the opportunity.